Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. To Monday, breaking down the craziness that is college basketball. We'll talk a little bit of NBA. We got some baseball free plays as well. Baseball season just getting started. So 3-4 game sample size. We're starting to pick up here. So Dan had a nice little weekend. We lost some big plays, but overall turned a 3-unit profit for clients over the weekend. So we're creeping up on 40 units for the year, which is really good. So were you watching live, Dan, the college basketball?
Of course, man. Yeah, it was. I mean, once you get down to these few games, you have to obviously be tuning in and be locked in. And it was an exciting weekend. Duke ended up getting lucky. At the end of the game against St. John's, and then the luck ran out with the three that was banged. My favorite thing is if you watch the live reaction of Hurley and then the Duke basketball coach. Two completely different worlds that was being lived in right there. You always think about the winners on those kind of plays, but getting the camera in the face of the losers there, it was a hell of a weekend, man. Hell of a weekend indeed, and it's set. Final Four is set, and I think I'll tell you what, that Arizona-Michigan game, that's the national championship game, right? I mean, I don't see who's beaten either of those two teams.
It's the general sentiment, I think, but you got to be I would be terrified to say that because if they think that's the national championship and they win, it's hard to get up for that next game. It's
and
just
Dan Hurley is still in the tournament. That's very fair. That is very fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Who we got on today's show?
Yeah, man, we're locked and loaded on a Monday show. Obviously, we'll do a little bit of recap with you in the comments here and comment below after the show goes live. But what is happening in the marketplace right now? Lines are moving as we speak. Why is it happening? Gianni the Greek is going to break that down, give you a little steam report. Crackman, that's right. Bill Krackomberger, Mount Rushmore Better, is going to give you an NBA prop for free right here on the show. We're going to get some thoughts from him, from what we should see moving forward, and then we're ending it. I mean, heavy hitters galore on this show because Steve Merrill's coming on. He's going to break down what he's seeing in March Madness, what he thinks of these Final Four matchups, and he's got two. That's right, count them two. Celtics versus Hawks, Pistons versus Thunder, NBA winners coming your way on the show today. Andy's taking you all around the world. I'm trying to go 3-0, picking a dog on the MLB card. That's coming up your way here on the show. So, Andy, nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's get into it, my friend.
All right, let's bring in Gianni the Greek. Gianni, people are already counting their money on their parlays yesterday in college basketball. Play the Duke Michigan, and just didn't happen. So, give a little recap here. I'm not really sure what the books did. The books do well, books not do well with college basketball. What was your take?
Yeah, they cleaned up because of that money line parlay that lost. And excuse the look, it's by design after yesterday. Just got buried. Every market we bet ended up losing. And it's just one of those terrible, terrible days. And it was off. The cherry on top was Duke, which we had a future to win that bracket, get to the Final Four, and had a Duke money line bet as well yesterday. So it was just the cherry on top, and it shows you the randomness of one game. We talk about it all the time, how when you get to them one game final type of sports, the best team doesn't always win the championship. You don't have 7-game series to where there's time for the cream to rise to the top. And that's how you get a team like Connecticut get in there, and which wasn't, at least power rating wise, not a top 10 team. They play that game 10 times, the result's different. But that's why the risk management becomes so important, because they don't play 10 games. We have to handicap as if they do, but we know they won't. And that's the randomness of single sporting events. And we saw it play out yesterday. Again, if you were on the right side of it, God bless you. It was a nice score. If you had the money line especially, got a little lucky. But I'm sure you've had bad beats in your lifetime to offset it. We all have. So again, it's just another March Madness. It happens every single day in the market. It's just when everyone's paying attention to it, when the spotlight is on, it's a lot more, it's more exciting. People talk about it more. But when you bet like we do every day, there's finishes more or less every other day like that. You know what I mean? When you're talking all multiple markets, multiple final scores, we get that all the time. But again, it's great to see March Madness, and books ended up doing well because, again, it wiped out that parlay, which a lot of recreational bettors were on, and a lot of sharp bettors. I saw guys I respect that were even like, how can you not play this parlay? The Arizona and Duke, arguably the best two teams, both playing on the same day. It just doesn't work out that way always, and you have what you have. So Illinois, Connecticut, obviously Michigan or Arizona is going to be favored over either of those. I go off my power ratings, and I can tell you right now pretty much what the line should be because they've adjusted it now. You see Michigan's a 1-point favorite. So going in, they would have probably had Arizona as the 1-point favorite, but the perception and the narratives changed a little bit. So you see Michigan now is the 1-point favorite. Again, not a big deal, but those two are arguably now 1 and 2 with Duke out of it, where Illinois and Connecticut, those are the more surprise team. And either Michigan or Arizona will be favored, obviously, over Illinois or Connecticut. Right now, I say I would make probably Arizona or Michigan at least a 2.5 point favorite over Illinois, and probably about a 4-point favorite. This is off the top of my head. Again, looking at the power ratings, just plain power ratings, not individual matchups, about a 4-point favorite over Connecticut, I would make them. So we'll see what the sports books bring out once the Final Four gets played. But yeah, that's how I approach it. And looking at these lines, there is some value in the Final Four based on some recency bias. We'll talk about that again later in the week. And there's a bet on it tomorrow that we are taping. We'll dig into those games a little bit deeper, but no big moves early. Nothing really to report on either of those, which tells you the look-aheads were probably on point with most power ratings. The only thing I did see was 2.5 get bet with Illinois when that opened at 2.5. They took the 2.5 with Connecticut, but a couple are back at 2.5 anyway. As you expect good two-way action in that game. It'll be interesting to see with Arizona and Michigan where the public money goes. I think it's probably going to go on Arizona if I had to guess. But we'll see. We'll see. Nothing from the sharps yet.
I mean, this is just my opinion. I call me crazy, but you're down to the Final Four. Is there really any value in these games? There's 2 games. It's the best teams. The spreads are like -2.5, like -1.5. Like, can you really have an edge in any of these games?
About it. You could kind of draw that conclusion though with pretty much all sports when you get to the finals. The Super Bowl, the Major League Baseball when you get to the final series, and even again the sports we talked about with one game. Because all the attention's on that game, the line's supposed to be as efficient as possible, whereas late in the season, all the information should be factored into the betting line. You're absolutely right. The numbers should be as efficient as possible. All the data is factored in. I mean, we have as big of a sample size from both teams as we possibly can have at this point of the season. So you're absolutely right. The line should be accurate to where whether you bet team A or team B, by having lay 11 to win 10, we shouldn't be profitable, meaning neither side should get us to that 53, 54%. We need to be profitable. But here's why that isn't the case. Because if it was true, then we know that long-term, the sports books would only make about 4.5%, like is the built-in edges on straight bets. But the reason they make more than that, even if we separate parlays, teasers, is because odds makers are forced to shade the line towards biases. And the reason for that is obvious. because as a bookmaker, you make money two ways. You're supposed to play the agent. As a bookmaker, you're not supposed to have an opinion. You're not supposed to care who wins or loses. You're supposed to play the agent. That's what makes it illegal, because player A puts 11 to win 10. Player B puts 11 to win 10. I take the dollar in the middle as the vig. That's what makes it illegal in other states where, gambling's illegal. Otherwise, two people can make a contract and bet on the Final Four game for $1 million, and it's a binding contract. Nothing makes it illegal. The illegality comes when that broker comes in and takes that vig. Okay. That's the bookmaker's job, is being the agent. Now, the agent makes money by the vig. So how do you do that? By balancing the action, getting 10,000 on this side, 10,000 on that side, 20,000 gets bet. I make my $1,000 vig, 4.5, close to 5%, let's say. That's what I should be making. But it's impossible to balance that action, 10,000, 10,000. So as a bookmaker, what am I forced to do if I can't balance the action? I need to balance the result. I need to make sure that whether they bet side A or side B, it's not profitable. To do that, I have to shade the line towards the biases of the bettors. That's where the inefficiency comes in, because you see, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. And us as bettors, that's where we can take advantage, even those times where it's a Final Four, where it's a championship game, because they're forced to adjust the spread towards the market. And again, not to knock recreational bettors, but we already know that factual 99.5% of sports betting accounts have negative lifetime earnings. So any account that's ever been opened, 99.5% of them have negative lifetime earnings. So not too many people are making money betting sports. We obviously know that. And it's an unsophisticated market. And because of that, the sophisticated 0.5% able to find some of those inefficiencies, even in a championship game. Because rest assured, this line's going to move. The total's going to move. The side's going to move between now and tip-off. That's what's going to show you the inefficiency. If it doesn't move at all, then rest assured, you're absolutely right, and there's zero value to be had. But I think we're going to see some line movement. If not on both these games, I think on one of these games, we will see some line movement. And again, I may be wrong, but I do think we will. And again, we'll see what the market decides, but that's what it comes down to. Everyone's got an opinion, whether it's right or wrong, and the books could be wrong more than they're right because they get 11 to 10. We have to be right more than we're wrong because we lay 11 to 10. So we got to be a little more disciplined when we throw out our opinions.
Let's move to baseball. My favorite my favorite betting stat so far through 3 games, the Colorado Rockies are 0-3, but they're 3-0 on the run line. They've lost 3 games by.
That's Rockies. That's Rockies baseball for you.
They're competitive. Just can't quite get that win.
Rockies.
Only a few games in here, Gianni. What are you seeing in baseball?
Yeah, I got a couple of the National League, because that's what I'll do. I'll narrow down for the early, because then the Steam sheet will have more of the volume. But I'm trying to narrow down now even the strongest of those plays in the accounts for the Steam sheet to give them even little less volume, more ROI. So here's some of the National League moves already that are legit. 903 under 8, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. 907 over 7.5 and even over 8 on San Francisco, San Diego. And 907 San Francisco plus 120, and then follow through at plus 110 on San Francisco. That's it in the NL that I think's legit up till now. It's real early. NBA still a little early there, but 2 plays that are legit. 560 Atlanta minus the 1, and 564 over 242 Chicago and the San Antonio Spurs. Again, coming off an ass kicking like I had yesterday, got to tighten up the reins and get back to grinding. This is probably the best time coming off a cold stretch and now have to rebuild. But you got to deal with that variance as a sports bettor. And right now, myself and the guys that are teamed up with me for 2026, are dealing with it. And this is where you find out what you're built for. If you manage risk correctly, we'll get through it in time to turn a profit. If not, got to revisit that thesis and try to do it the right way once again. You know, we all get there where we make mistakes and overbet. And every morning we have the opportunity to do it the right way. So today's an opportunity to do that for all of us.
Surely there's no changing in your MLB power rankings. You're probably just taking in some information and kind of looking at it. What teams do you have like power rated? Are there teams you're interested in betting on, or are you just absorbing info right now?
Exactly. Right now, it's all about gathering information. Obviously, I have the Dodgers as my number 1 power rated team, and I have the Rockies as my 30th power rated team. My top 5 right now, I can tell you already that I have the guy that I trust that puts my power ratings together that I bet off of. He needs at least, he's saying 20, 25 games. He's like, that's 2 college football seasons. That's more than enough for me to feel confident to start giving you some implied win probabilities for each matchup. So my top 5 I have are Dodgers, obviously number 1. They would be favored over the Yankees. They would be favored over the Brewers. They would be favored over the Phillies, and they would be favored over the Blue Jays. I think those are the 5 best teams in Major League Baseball. I'll say it again. 3 are in the NL. That's the Dodgers, the Brewers, and the Phillies. 2 of them are in the AL, same division. That's the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And what do you know? The 3rd best AL team is the Red Sox. So that AL East is going to have to figure itself out, at least according to my power ratings. And yes, I know the Phillies are 1 and 2, but they're still a top 5 team, just like the Cubs. They're in my top 10. Red Sox in my top 10. Padres in my top 10. But some of the phonies, I'll tell you right now, the Marlins, they're 3-0. That's not going to last. They're a bottom 5 team. Cardinals 2-1. That's not going to last. They're a bottom 10 team. Orioles 2-1. That's not going to last. They're a bottom 10 team. Again, is there going to regression going to happen overnight? Probably not. But it is going to happen. We talked about it last season before the year. Let's wait a week or 2, Andy, and we'll start talking about these teams that won 70% of their games that won't sustain that for very much longer. Detroit Tigers last year. And we'll find a couple gems to follow or fade over the next couple of weeks for sure.
Can you think of anything that matters less than this team is 1 and 2 to start the MLB season and this team is 3-0? I'm hard pressed to think of anything that matters less in sports betting than who won their opening weekend set.
Now, maybe preseason baseball standing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, spring league. This guy looked real good.
Standing.
Yeah,
I've never looked at him. I don't know any handicapper that has. I've never looked at him, so I don't know.
Well, Gianni, I mean, to your point, the Marlins, they're 3-0, but they're also 0-3 on the run line. They won their games by 1 run. So, like, razor thin edge there. So, all right, Gianni, what do you have up for everybody on this Monday?
All right, as soon as I jump off here, because I said, when you come off an ass kicking like that, you got to be straight and honest with yourself. I tell you when I win and I tell you when I lose. And we were sitting nicely, got out way ahead in January, sitting nicely in February and March. And the last week, 10 days of March Madness has kicked my ass. And it's all come from my own stuff, 90% my own stuff, just like I did in college football. Once we get to the bowl games, I said it then and I'll say it again. The betting syndicates don't do a lot of sides, a lot of totals. It's mostly derivatives. So I step in and trust the numbers, and we crushed the bowl season. We crushed the college football playoffs and even March Madness up until this last weekend or Sunday at least. So when that happens, got to tighten up a little bit. The Steam sheet will be up and that's it. I'm not going to put a package out. Subscribers are going to get that and even 4% and stuff because we got to grind back. So April's right around the corner, just a day or so ahead. And we'll have action throughout the week because a lot's coming up. We got UFC on Saturday, Final Four on Saturday. And between now and then, we'll be doing baseball, NBA, college basketball because of the NIT. And don't forget, I have 3 tennis bets. 2 of them are 4%. Probably gave 1 or 2 of them out for free as well. So make sure you go to WagerTalk.com every day for those. Thanks, Andy. And hope you guys do some damage this weekend, man, and this week. Keep killing it, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Gianni. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Have
Gianni.
a big Monday. Dan, your insane lacrosse run continues. I mean, 21-8.
I don't want to bet those kind of sports though, Andy. I don't want to win in sports that you can win in. You know what I mean?
21-8 is truly insane, man. What you've done is pretty incredible. So,
but Andy,
baseball's up.
That's what we've set out to do. You know what I mean? Like we've been super selective. Like I think this last week we had 2 plays and we end up going 2-0, you know, but we're rating them high because we're seeing it really well. So we had another rocking chair winner, guys. This was a team that has been scoring up and down on the field in the Virginia Cavaliers. We knew they were playing Notre Dame. We knew Notre Dame wanted to slow it down, and Notre Dame slowing it down bit them in the ass. We also leaned with the dog in that game. They went outright. So rocking chair winners, guys. I mean, I cannot guarantee, obviously, that's going to happen, Andy, but we've been really selective. We've been really solid. We still have that 30-day lacrosse pass pack up, but Andy, baseball's been great for us out of the gate. I know it's early on, but all access is the name of the game because these are the kind of sports that you're betting in, and we're dabbling in baseball this year, so you're going to get the sport you want to bet to when you go all access with us.
Yeah, we're doing excuse me. Yeah, we're doing a little bit more than dabbling. We're all in on baseball with props inside. So we're up 3 units to start the year. We got a 4% prop that is up. There's 2 props that are involved in that package. So you want that? We got that. We have a 4% darts play that's up. That goes off on Thursday. So get any of those packages, guys, on the specials page, and you get every single one of our plays. So we got good hockey, good NBA. So the specials page, invest long term, and shout out to the Winning in the Shadows family. You guys, all access clients, really good. We want to be up. My goal is 10 units each month. That way, I can be up 120 units at the end of the year. Excuse me. Yeah, we're ahead of schedule. We're at 39 units. So love to close out March with if we have a winning day. Bang, we get up over that 40 units. How does Dan not get super limited betting on lacrosse?
This is something, Andy, that we've touched upon, and we'll talk with Bill here too. A lot of these books they want to throw out you if you're a winning sports bettor, and how do you stave that off? You stave that off by attacking it a couple different ways. I'm not only betting lacrosse on a specific book. I'm also shopping around and betting it at other books. I don't go all in on one side. I'm also, if a book screws up and they really have an awful total, I'm personally not emptying my whole entire, clip, even though I know it's probably a great winner, because then I can't bet there anymore. So there's a couple different ways that you can attack it. But I mean, Bill will come on here and tell you guys, like, when you win, they don't want you. You know what I mean? So you have to attack it a couple different ways. The other way that I go, throw in some donkey plays. We talked about this on Friday, Andy. I'll throw in some dumb parlays. I let my bankroll allow for it. And you throw in some cross sport ones, you just throw in some real long shot ones, and play some of the the promos that they give you, the really bad bets. Unfortunately, guys, you have to maybe manage your bankroll to allow for that. If you're a casual bettor or someone who's trying to take this a little bit more serious, and you don't want to not be able to bet at a book anymore, because there are books I can't bet lacrosse at anymore. And then you just move on, have as many outs as possible. That's step one,
Yeah, figure out what their limit is and don't bet that limit. So if you've noticed that 500 is their limit, and you can look it up and you can even ask them, like, hey, what's the limit on this sport? So if lacrosse is $500, you're not betting $500, you're betting $250 at 2 different books, even if you get a worse price. So
agreed.
That's a couple ways to do it. Let's bring in Bill, and this is a really good segue here. Bill, we're just talking about how do you not? Dan's been crushing lacrosse. You're asking, well, how do you not get limited with some of those sports? What's your advice?
You guys say have as many books as possible. Have as many beards that you trust that'll pay you.
Good point.
I am a guy that I am openly saying on many shows. I know books frown upon it, but players like me frown upon you throwing me out. So I'm going to. I hate giving any kind of action that is unnecessary. However, if you're playing with a local, I understand you only have so many locals that you can trust. Everyone thinks they're a bookmaker today. You walk into a poker room and every table has at least one bookmaker or so-called bookmaker in it. So what you want to do with a local, you want to make sure you give them action on Sunday NFL season. What I'm saying is you're not going to, bust them all on NFL props and uh, college football and not give any straight action on Sunday. Now, I'll even tell you what to give. You don't have to know anything. You just have to look for even a 4, a -4 someplace at one of your locals, and maybe at one of your apps or one of your other guys has a 4.5. Listen, it's not worth the middle financially, but it's worth it for the longevity of the account to lay the 4 and take the 4.5 somewhere else, just to have that side in a NFL account that you're betting with a local guy that could say, you don't even give any action on Sunday football, but you want to bet NFL props, college football, and whatever else during the week. Maybe some of these obscure kind of sports like you're talking about. So you want to make the account look good. As far as the brick and mortar, the apps that are out there, maybe it's worth it if you're betting $100 or more a game. Maybe it's worth to throw a $1. That's right, $1, 6, 7, 8, 9 teamer. Just to make it. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose long term. You're going to lose it, but maybe someone looks in the account and says, wow, this guy puts, all these parlays and doesn't even realize you're putting $1 on 5 of them.
Yep.
But you're just the mentality of betting parlays. Possibly that'll give you some more longevity in the accounts. But I just try to get someone else to bet that I know that they can bet in there. And now you don't know it's Bill Krackomberger betting. And we just try to grind out a few $1,000 before we're limited or thrown out. But then you have to run into the problem where you have to hope that that person doesn't have any vices, one of which gambling, because I've been stuck a lot of money from people that literally come to me with crocodile tears. And I just had it happen. Someone said, I relapsed. That's what someone just told me. I thought relapse was drinking or drugs, but obviously in his world, relapse is gambling. And I said, how do you relapse? You're in a casino all the time. What's relapse mean? Losing? Is that what relapse? Like I relapsed. I went into your money. Like, I don't even know. Just the things you have to overcome being a pro gambler that makes money betting sports is amazing. People think it's just all sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops, and that's absolutely not. You're dealing with total treachery. That's right, treachery. When you're dealing with people, the human nature, the human condition. You have to know who you're dealing with. How many people have I dealt with that jumped over a dollar bill to steal a little penny? I mean, you're going to make money long term with me. I'm going to go off into tangents here that I'm not planning to. You're going to make money long term with me, but no, you decide to steal, and that happens a lot. And it's part of the business. But it's funny we talk about that. I was looking at, so I'm looking at, this is DraftKings. This is DraftKings I'm looking at right now. Of course, we can't bet it here in Nevada, and I can't bet it anyway. I can't bet the app they threw. They were very good to me though. Just to be fair. DraftKings was very, very good to me. I won a bunch of money on Banchero in the beginning, and they paid me a lot. They put up with a lot for me. Now I say put up with a lot. They took my bet, and I posted money, and they took my bet. Okay, if that's a lot,
the bar is on the ground.
Yeah. So, but I won. I actually cracked them for a healthy 6 figures on Banchero, and then I won a golf future. And I won 180 to 1 future there too. That was the end of it though. I bet 400. I think it was to win 72,000. Anyway, that was the end of it with them. They threw me out then. Even the guy John Avello who's over there, he wants nothing to do with me. And I knew John from the win years ago. But it's the same thing. Now I was allowed to bet at the counter up to 1,000. And then I did my VSiN show on Thursday, and I said something bad about them. All I did was talk about their new rule, and they called me up instantly after the show and said 250 max. Okay, no soup for you. Okay, so yeah, and this gentleman, yes, of course. It's ski. I didn't say this gentleman. Yeah, $20 after two $400. I think it said Super. Did it say Super Bowl? $400. Two $400 bets won. I mean, honestly, it's so different now. DraftKings. At least they took some good hits off me there. But now it's NFL bets they're throwing people out for. Jesus, Mary and Joseph and all the saints and sinners like myself that win. Sorry. But yeah, so I was just looking at DraftKings though. They have a really good bet there. I hate to lay $1.65, but I think the Dodgers might just be the best regular season wins. I see minus $1.65 most regular season wins. Nothing to go crazy on, just an extra free bet. I actually went on here looking for season wins to see what a couple of the teams were on season wins. They don't have the season wins up right now, but they do have most regular season wins by and the Dodgers is the favorite. FanDuel, who's much better to me. I was limited on the app, but they're good to me on the counter, and I heard now they're good on the app. I like how FanDuel has all the season wins. Every day they go back in and adjust the baseball season wins. MGM was doing this too. MGM also has yes and no to make the playoffs still today listed. I love the adjusted season win.
Bill, did any of them jump out to you while you were scrolling through there? I know you didn't really get to dive in deep, but did any of them jump out when you see these adjusted season wins?
One of you guys just say the Marlins. Did one of you guys?
Yeah, Gianni was saying the Marlins.
Oh,
okay, they're 3-0. He's saying Fugazi 3-0. That he said that ain't gonna last. Direct quote.
Yeah, no. Miami Marlins 73.5. They really didn't move it too much. 73.5 over to -20, under -02. So that might be a good bet, like he's saying there. I was looking at Houston Astros. I still think I gave out an under when the season started, but I thought it was maybe still going to be 80. I give out 80. It was 86.5 at MGM, and they took some nice bets off me there and didn't even move it. They closed the line 86.5. I was looking to just maybe bet a little bit more under, but I can't bet it now at 84. It's 84.5 there, which I kind of didn't understand. I thought it would be a little bit higher there, but listen, I'm looking to go against all the marquee teams. Like, even though I say Dodgers best win in baseball, they have the Dodgers 104.5. Wow, that's a lot. They're saying the Dodgers are going to win 105 games. Now, granted, they look like the best team in baseball, but last year they were projected to win 100 and some game, 104 games too, and it didn't work out. So I just I went there to look at three teams: the Guardians, the Marlins. Actually, looks like it could be a play, but I'm not betting it anyway. Why? Because I can't bet it. You can't bet this here in Nevada. So there's a couple subjects I wasn't even planning to talk about there, but you guys were talking about how to keep longevity in sports books. I know the books frown upon it, and they get mad at me saying that. You just got to find a beard. You got a beard in, like Stations Casinos here. They do not like winners, even though their big signs and billboards say we love our winners. Yeah, okay. They don't like anyone that wins on their app, and they throw you off. I think I'm allowed to bet at the counter, but I'm not even sure. The antique that ran the place, Art Mantaris, that retired. Everyone's talking about him, how great he is. He wrote a book. Oh well, Art, you're great. Yeah. Art also had to bring in an extra change of underwears every shift in case guys like me came in. So Art Mantaris, he threw me out. And the reason why he threw me out is because, one, I bet a game that moved 3 points. I lost, by the way. I lost that game, and it was a normal size bet. It was in the thousands. I lost that bet. They said, you either give me the ticket back. It moved 15 minutes later. Either give me imagine people that are watching today. Imagine someone chasing you out the casino and saying, "Hey, that line moved. I need that ticket back. You can't have that anymore." Let's see if these companies chase out the people that it moved against. Hey, sir, you can get 2 points better now. Come on back in. We'll cancel that ticket for you. I mean, it really is. It's cat and mouse. It should be illegal what they do. If the gaming commissions only knew what these sports books do, especially the ones that you'll make a bet and you'll be held in a queue, and then they'll say, "Oh, sorry, the line moved. Someone bet it somewhere else." It's totally, totally illegal. Well, it's not illegal. It's immoral and unethical what these sports books do. And the people that this happens to, they understand. They know that I'm not, what I'm talking about comes from experience. So Mantaris had his one of his lackeys chase me out of the casino, and I said, "No, I'm not giving the ticket back." The bet lost. I went public with it. And he said, "Can you come down and talk to me?" So I actually went down to the Red Rock Casino and talked to him in person, which I gotta have to tell you, I actually give him credit for that. I went down and talked to him, and he said, and then he used the excuse that, we have you on camera on the phone. Okay, you're allowed to be on the phone now. in the sports books. Maybe my wife wanted a container of milk on the way home. How do you know what I was talking about if it had something to do with you? But they try to use every excuse. And the gaming boards, let me just tell you, gaming, while we do have some good gaming agents and good gaming people, indirectly they're paid. Why do they have a job? If there was no gaming, no gaming places to game to police, they wouldn't have a job. So I'm going in with a 0-2 count, and against their top closer when I'm making a bet and trying to bring it to gaming and showing them something. So, but anyway, going back to that, Art actually allowed me back in. And then I posted a video from New Jersey, but I wasn't there. When I get back, I put a lot of videos together and put them up eventually during the week. And he said, "You were not in Las Vegas when you made a bet in your account." That wasn't the case. I was in. I put the video up talking about what I did 2 weeks ago in New Jersey. Anyway, I'm going off on tangents. They look for any excuse to throw you out. Hello, guys.
Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk that Art was cashing tickets on over a half pair of underwear, either worn or brought for the odds makers? That's well done out of you, Bill. Well, Bill, before we shut things down, obviously we want to hear what you have rocking and going. I know you don't have anything loaded yet, but
not yet.
Been a great run, man. It was 61% over the last 7 days, 25 and 16. But first, man, the folks need an NBA prop. You got one for them today?
Yeah.
Anything you're eyeing?
Second week in a row, I see I'm the top record there. That's pretty good.
Hell yeah!
You have to continue those type of streaks, but there's a lot of guys to beat out. So we had a really good run. Connecticut actually was a good one there. I had 5. I gave out 5.5, and there was 5.5s available. It's funny. I did my Fox show yesterday, and there was 5.5s right at MGM yesterday when there was -5 even at some places. So it is good to have a lot of places, guys. Fantastic run. College basketball, 22-10 on March Madness, plus 35, over 35 units based on the way I tell you to play. What a great game. Great comeback last night. I had 5% play on that on UConn. But, they could have went either way there. How about if he misses a free throw and it's on 3 and they foul him? It could have landed on 5. I still would have covered it my 5.5. I'm just glad they got the win there and glad we got a big win there for all the Wager Talk people. I've been saying it for months. Get on board. Prop. Here we go. Baseball. Let me just make sure that MGM or someone has this still. Me yapping all the whole time, but it's not really going to change. Baseball season, I just said, so it just started. So we're going to have some stuff loaded, though. We've had a couple things so far. Let's go. Texas Rangers. Jack Leiter strikeouts over 4.5. Is it still -35? Yeah, Jack Leiter strikeouts over 4.5, -135. He had a great spring training. He's up to his normal pitch counts now. He's up against the Orioles today, and the Orioles, they have 7 guys in their lineup that have that strike out like 20% strikeout rate versus these right-handed pitchers. So over 4.5, Jack Leiter over his strikeouts. Guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your likes and your subscribes to the network. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys that came across with us, came with me, and I've been talking about for weeks. Join me for March Madness. Look forward to that. And now again, we have the props going. The props are just out of control. How hot we've been with props for the whole season, and they're obtainable props. Appreciate you guys. Come over to Wager Talk. Join me, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Love it, Crack. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Guys.
Stay hot, man. Stay hot. Yeah, it's always good when you get to come on and say, "Yeah, I was back to back getting to chill on the leaderboard there, Andy." Never a bad thing.
No, it's good. Listen, like we always talk about when we win and when we lose, but God, when you have a bad day or a bad stretch and you have to come on shows,
it sucks.
It's awful. Like it's the worst feeling in the world. Like
dude, I don't like losing
terrible.
One play when folks are riding with you, when people put their hard-earned money with this. But like when you're on one of those streaks where you're just not seeing it right, it's hard to get out of bed, let alone hop on, turn your light on, get the microphone ready to go. But accountability is the name of the game, man. And that's what Wager Talk does differently. So it's nice when you get to talk about what's going well, because as we all know, sports bettors and pros, guys, it's not always roses. That's for sure.
Yeah. One of the best money line picks for MLB today. I gotta be honest, Dan. I just truly believe that if you can isolate who's the horrible team and just fade them. I think it was
Keep going.
2000. I think it was like 2022. I was number one on Wager Talk for baseball, and it was the year that the Diamondbacks, basically their entire pitching staff got hurt. Like they had nobody, and I think they lost like 21 games in a row or something. And it was just, you bet against them every single day. I think the White Sox might be like tragically bad. Like they might be epic. I mean, I know they were bad last year, but so they got beat 9-7, 6-1, and 14-2. And I know it was against the Brewers, but I'm looking at the Miami Marlins, and I know Miami's not gonna, keep up their 3-0, but Miami -143 on DraftKings. If this White Sox team is really bad, are you really going to be seeing -143 across the board? So that would be one that I would look at. And that, I mean, the Cubs are -194, but the Angels are pretty rough. The Angels are a pretty rough team. Not a whole lot of offense coming out of that one.
Well, Andy, we just got Steve Merril here, so we're going to talk with him, talk some NBA games in just a second. But if we're asking about, Moneyline Picks, what I have been doing here on the show, we typically do it at the end, but we'll give it to you now right before we bring Steve in. We have our crack of the bat MLB Dog of the Day. We've been doing this for 2 days, Andy. So again, baseball, small sample size, but we'll take being 2.7 units up. We cashed a 160. We cashed a 110 on Friday with the Detroit Tigers. That's why I'm wearing the lid here. So let's go for a little bit longer of a dog here today, Andy. For your crack of the bat dog of the day, I'm going Minnesota Twins against the Kansas City Royals. This one, again, guys, is similar how I picked our first two. And it's just, what do we see about the Royals thus far that they should be north of 160? What, because they're home? Because they stole a last game effort against the Braves before going a combined 12-2 to start the year. Their loss is 12-2, excuse me. Twins, they opened up against a team I'm crazy bullish on. So am I surprised they lost against Baltimore? No. I like Baltimore a lot this year. They stayed competitive in all three of those games. And I just think, I think Bubic is a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're getting a little bit overvalued because of how he ended last year, how he looked in spring training. And the Royals as a whole, I just don't see him as a plus or, as a -160, 165 or batter. So Twins, crack of the bat, MLB Dog of the Day. Give me the +145, Andy.
We got a few people talking about the Giants. I did not know this. Through 3 games, they have 1 run.
Unders? Or do we fade them? I mean, unders, or do we hop in and fade them? I mean,
take your pick. But I'll run. You guys got I'll run. Pretty bad. So, all right, let's bring in Steve Merril. We'll talk some hoops here. Steve, happy Monday. How are you?
Hey, boys. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just absorbing some info from baseball, trying to get ducks in a row there. But we talked about college basketball yesterday and that crazy ending there. So what was your takeaway from college basketball so far, and what do you think about the 4 teams that are left?
So close to having the Final Four correct. I had all 4 teams correct, had Duke held on because I did have Illinois in there. And I've still got my 2 national champs. I had Arizona and Michigan. I always thought was going to maybe be the national title game. But my long shot pick for anybody who got my bracket, and hundreds of my clients got it for free, Illinois at 22-1 was my long shot pick that I was promoting in that bracket. And I guess in a way, Duke losing is good for that because I think Illinois is probably better than UConn, to be honest. So, I mean, I would have had the Final Four correct, but it really sets Illinois up for that long shot chance. We very well might have Illinois in the finals now. UConn in the Final Four, 3 of the last 4 years, they had back-to-back championships, and everyone thought they were unbeatable. And then last year, they were definitely not as strong as we thought they were going to be. They are a good team this year. Everyone kind of wrote them off because St. John's blew them out of the Big East tournament. That didn't bother me. What worries me is that even coming in this week, they're only the 25th offensive efficient team in the country, and that is why they trailed by 19 yesterday. And let's also not forget, it was a great comeback. But when you overcome a 19-point deficit, the other team has to help you at times. And Duke obviously did that multiple ways. Cameron Boozer, huge turnover, and then he gets the basket. And then Duke any of the three players that possessed the ball in the backcourt with only 10 seconds remaining could have just held the ball. Nobody had to pass the ball, and three of them did it, and it led to that turnover. So as a coach, very interesting to see that. And keep in mind also, Duke blew a 14-point lead last year in the Elite Eight against Houston. Houston made that big comeback, and then Houston won their final 4 games. So, just don't think Connecticut's going to come in flat necessarily. But I think Illinois is a really good team, and the Illini had not trailed in the second half except for one game, their previous 24, until the game the other day, and they still found a way to win. And 4 of their 5 losses going down the stretch were in overtime. So Illinois was my long shot. We'll see if they can make the finals, and I think Michigan, Arizona are definitely the 2 best teams remaining.
What was amazing about that last play, you go back and watch it, UConn clearly, they've practiced that. They knew exactly what they were doing, and it was like the 2 guys, they on purpose left the 2 Duke players on the other side of the court. You can see as soon as the guy passed it, they were just taught, jump up with your hands. That was not a frantic defensive possession. That was absolutely coached. They didn't try and foul, and they tried to just outthink the other team into turning it over, and they did. It was wild. I watched that play a million times, and every time I watch, I notice something a little bit different about the defense and just how brilliantly that was coached. So very, very cool. Well, let's talk NBA here, Steve. We got Celtics and Hawks, Pistons, Thunder, 2 really good games here. These teams, the Hawks are an interesting team. I kind of like watching them play here. I'm a little bit surprised that they're the favorite here, -1.5 over under 222. But let's talk this Celtics Hawks games. What do you expect tonight, and why is this Hawks team's favored?
Well, first of all, it's a quick revenge spot. Something we always keep an eye on in the NBA. We talk about revenge a lot in college hoops and the NBA, and it's not necessarily because the team is mad. We're going to get revenge. It's a lot of times the other team lets up a bit after the win. And I say that because these teams did just play on Friday night in Boston, and the Hawks lost 109-102, did not shoot the ball well in that game, just 39% from the field, gave up 47% shooting. They still only lost by 7 points. They bounced back on Saturday back at home against Sacramento with a 10-point win, a non-covering win, but a win nonetheless. And that was a tough spot for them, the no-rest travel situation, returning home after the Detroit-Boston road games. Meanwhile, the Celtics entered this game off a nice win as they went to Charlotte on Sunday yesterday. After that home win against Atlanta, big win at Charlotte as a dog last night by 15. 3 straight wins coming in here. And keep in mind, they also beat the Thunder, the defending world champs, the game before Atlanta. So 3 big wins for Boston. They have not submitted their injury report yet. I don't necessarily think they're sitting guys, but it also tells me there's that possibility. So I think there's a few reasons why Atlanta's the favorite here, and I agree with it. I like them at the -1.5 to -2. A quick revenge spot here for Atlanta, and maybe not the most focused spot for the Celtics, not just because they just beat the Hawks, but they're also coming off a road dog win without rest travel situation after Charlotte last night.
Yeah, it looks like Boston's going to be looks like Tatum is doubtful, White questionable, Jaylen Brown questionable, Vucevic remains to be out. So interesting
Andy,
spot.
Literally at 12:49 and 18 seconds, it just popped on Odds Logic. Jaylen Brown is upgraded to available to play with the calf, and that is lighting up right now on the Odds Logic screen. So it's so crazy when we do these live shows.
Tatum out.
Yeah. So, but the line's gone from 1 to 2, so it's not like so like you said, Tatum likely is not playing. The NBA report is not out yet. Maybe the 1 o'clock Eastern will have it.
Steve, I got my Odds Logic screen up too, and it popped literally right before they said Jaylen Brown in. Tatum's going to be out, at least according to Odds Logic here. So I guess that's why they're like, well, Brown's in. No Tatum though. Just add another point on there, or add another half point on there.
Yeah, and the over/under, by the way, has dropped from 222.5, 223 down to 222, and we've seen it go from 1.5 to 2. Yep. So as I was breaking that game down live on WagerTalk TV, odds, it's incredible how often this has happened this year. I did the Final Four video, Dan, like on Friday afternoon or whatever. Yeah, because it was the Arizona game. I'm doing it Friday afternoon, and about a minute after I finish recording, the total gets hit and goes up a full point. Like in the middle of the afternoon on Friday before the Saturday game. I was like, you can't make this stuff up. It's insane.
They plan it around when Steve is on video. They plan it, or Steve whispers, and they're like, "Oh, it's
right." Well, you realize I'm not claiming I'm moving the lines because I was recording that. Nobody had seen it yet, so I just want to make sure the viewers don't think I'm saying I'm moving the market.
Thank you.
It's kind of eerie at times.
We got the Detroit Pistons, Oklahoma City Thunder. We thought we were going to get like SGA versus Cade Cunningham. Instead, we're getting SGA versus Kevin Huerter, which touch of a little bit of a letdown there. But yeah, Detroit looks like they're sitting a lot of guys. Duran's doubtful. Harris is doubtful. Duncan Robinson's doubtful. Beef Stew's out. Cade is out. So we get a monster line here, -12. You and I talk about this. When these teams sit these players, A, it could be a letdown spot for the big favorite, and B, you got these bench players that this is their time to shine. So what do you make of this big spread here, over under 218?
Yeah, and let's talk too about just the Pistons in general without Cade Cunningham, right? They continue to win. This is a team that has won 6 of their last 7 games. They've won 9 of their last 11 games overall. And they've even been covering as well. 5 of the last 6 games that they've won, they've covered all 5 of those. So they're perfect 5-0 straight up in ATS with those wins and covers. And granted, they were only a dog in one of them, and that was a small home dog against the Lakers. They were favored in all the other games. So this is a huge step up in class. I believe the biggest dog they've been all season. I'd have to go back and check. But with Cunningham, I don't believe, unless it was early in the season before everyone realized how good they were this year. With that said, though, this is not a great spot for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know, they had a big national TV game last night against the New York Knicks. It was the NBC primetime game at 7:30 Eastern last night, and they beat the Knicks at home 111-100. And they also beat the Bulls right before that, somewhat in blowout fashion on Friday night. I mentioned that loss against the Celtics earlier on Wednesday. Played the Sixers before that. Yes, the Pistons are one of the best teams in the league record-wise, but this is obviously not that squad. Cade Cunningham out still with the lung injury, and obviously also a lot of guys listed on the injury report. In fact, I'm seeing 9 guys, including Cunningham, on the current injury report right now. That's basically a full roster. So that does concern you because we might not even be getting many of the backups in this game. But Detroit's still been a feisty team without Cunningham. And yes, Cunningham's a star player, but this is a really good Detroit squad overall. It's not just Cunningham. They've proven they can win without him. And the fact that the Thunder might not be fully focused for this one. And, oh, by the way, guess who they have on deck later this week? The LA Lakers is their next game. We'll take a flyer with the Detroit Pistons here. And if you just blindly play these shorthanded teams, you have won more money than you've lost over the last few years. And one of the reasons is because they have to inflate the line. And this line is currently +12 across the board with Detroit, who's still been one of the best straight-up teams in the league. And we're getting 12 points with them. So I would lean Pistons in this one, but it is a shorthanded Detroit squad, to say the least. And by the way, Oklahoma City has not submitted their injury report yet. I doubt they're sitting anybody, but they did play last night, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well.
That would be something if you take the Thunder because Detroit's sitting at, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, right? Like there is some intrinsic
back-to-back
value with Detroit right now until that injury report comes out.
That's a great point, Steve.
Yeah.
But the Thunder bench is almost a starting team
Correct.
anyways. like they bring in
fair.
they literally have too many good players.
Andy,
it's
I thought I wanted to
insane.
mention this because I knew we were talking about this game today. When I was watching the starting lineup last night in that Knicks game, it cracks me up when they go, at center, 7 foot, Hartenstein. At guard, 7'1", Chet Holmgren. That has to be the most ridiculous thing in the history of basketball to hear that. It cracks me up every time.
I know.
You think there's no way that's ever happened on any other team in history, that they announce the center and then the guard is an inch taller. Unless the center is like 6 foot. Air Force Academy starting center 5'11". You know, that must be like the only way that would ever happen.
5'11" and a half.
5'11".
Steve, what do you have up for everybody on Monday?
Yeah, so we're talking a lot of NBA. Obviously, the Final Four will be up later this week. First of all, I've done every tournament game for March Madness. I will continue to do so. Obviously, the NCAA Final Four is Saturday, the finals Monday. But I did both NIT quarterfinal games last week. We went 3-1 on those. So I'm going to try to give you the NIT semis as well. I believe it's on Saturday, and then the finals are Sunday. It's kind of funky, but a lot of content this weekend. So click subscribe, click the bell for an instant alert. You'll know when that's up. But also daily NBA videos, Major League Baseball free play videos. So thumbs up, like, positive comments below, and these videos and free plays will keep coming. And while we're talking the NBA, let's not sleep on the NBA. I'm number 1 this year in NBA best bet profit at WagerTalk. My 4% plays have won over 97 units of profit. We've almost doubled your bankroll in the NBA alone. And I've got 2 more strong plays going tonight for Monday, 2 strong NBA best bets, and also some special offers. You'll see them all listed on my page. The buy 3, get 3 still available. But 2 things I want to point out real quick. First of all, a 30-day is normally $299, all access. Special promo code SM100 gets it down to $199. Now, that's listed on my homepage with the daily message. You'll see it, SM100. gets it down to $199. That's 30 days of college basketball, pro basketball, and baseball. You'll also see the instant $500 discount still for the 1-year all access. But if you use promo code Steve25, you get another 25% off that. Gets it down to the lowest possible price for 1 year of all access, Steve25, an additional 25% off an already discounted $500 price. Once again, you don't have to memorize those. Go to my page now. Check out the daily free play. Don't forget about that. SteveMerril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker. WT.buzz/SM.
Awesome work, Steve. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Cashing in NBA. Very impressive record.
Yeah, keep that going, man. You got to love it.
We got to say hi to somebody here, Dan. We have to say hi to Christina.
Yeah.
Who is in the car with Bill right now. So, Christina, awesome. Awesome. I hope your Monday is going great.
New fan of the show. Make sure you like and subscribe, Christina. Make sure you like and subscribe. Or make Bill, he's already subscribed. He's a Wager Talk insider, but make him extra like. Tell all his friends to like it as well. And your friends, Christina. Thank you.
And Christina, what's your best bet for the day? If you could tell Bill and have Bill.
Yes.
Christina, who do you like today? Royals? Twins? Who are we on, Christina? So let's do some free plays here, Dan, and then we'll open up a baseball before we get out of here. So
yes. The unboxing that pisses everyone off. Let's go, baby.
Let's go to Twins and Royals. I like Bubic over 4.5 Ks. This play went 15-5 last year. I think it should be 5.5. So if it's 4.5, I'll take it. He did pitch last May against Minnesota, had 9 strikeouts. Take with that what you want, but the Twins are striking out over 10 times per game through 3 games. So small sample size, but that's a team that's swinging a lot. So take Bubic over 4.5 Ks. Rudy Gobert over 12.5 points. He's gone over in 4 out of 5. I think Anthony Edwards is coming back. If not, this really helps it. But he had 22 the last time he played Dallas. Dallas beat up, not playing for much. He's making over 6 shots per game. He's adding a couple free throws in there. So, and then Jonathan Aranda over just will have a hit. He's got a hit in all 3 games, and he's facing Kyle Harrison, who's making his Brewers debut. This guy gave up 12 runs in 9.2 innings, and he's 3 for 5 against lefties this season. So I like finding these streaks in the prop market where we can just keep riding. So Rana playing pretty good here. So, all right, Dan, you ready?
We got Dodgers over Guardians from Christina for the limit.
Dodgers over Guardians. Bald.
Let's go. What do we got? LA Dodgers. Just a modest minus 194. Shop around minus 180.
Not
but
bad.
That's baseball.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Let's go, Christina.
All right. We're continuing to open up. I got 3 more left. These are mystery autographed baseballs. If you guys don't know, I had a bunch of points on my David Buster's card from a previous TV show that I hosted. And so I went and got a bunch of these baseballs, and we open them, and hopefully we get a surprise. Dan looks up what they're selling for on eBay. Had a couple really good gems. So here we go. I hope this is a good one. All right. Jose Cruz Sr., 2-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger Award, Houston Astros Hall of Fame.
A lot of Astros we've been pulling.
I was going to say, I this is the second Houston Astro I've got. So Jose Cruz Jr., yeah, and it is autographed with Astros HOF 2019.
And you said this is Jose Cruz Jr.?
I'm sorry, Senior. Jose Cruz Senior.
Okay.
Sorry. Jose Cruz Senior. Astros HOF
that makes a difference.
2018.
Makes a difference. Here we go. Jose Cruz Senior versus
Maybe I'll package
Junior.
this with the other Houston Astros.
Well, Andy, if you want a Jose Cruz Jr., that's going for $20. You got a Jose Cruz Senior, that's going for $24. So this is our first here. I'll even get you shoot up here. Here we go. There you go. I know you love yourself some prices right. We got the losing horn. Finally, we pull a dud.
Yeah, probably not selling this guy for much. I'll throw this up for $15.
Andy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that one wasn't very good. So, man.
Well done. Well done,
Yeah.
DC Kaskaskas.
Man, imagine if we pull a Mickey Mantle tomorrow. That'd be incredible.
If they had a Mickey Mantle sitting on the back shelf at Dave and Buster's, man, I'll tell you what. We're retired.
Covered in dust. Yeah, it's covered in dust, the Mickey Mantle. So, all right, that's going to do it for it, guys. Please hit the like button. 30-day special for myself and my team is still up. You get $100 off of 30 days, and it's a great time. We've got multiple props that are up today, including a 4% NBA best bet. 4% darts play goes off Thursday. You're going to get everything. And Masters is right around the corner, so you're going to get all of our golf plays. Coming off a nice week in golf. We lost the big play, but we won all 3 other ones, cashed in DFS. So all these sports, it adds up to your bankroll, guys. It really does. We're up almost 40 units for this year. So got like 1 day left in March to see if I can get this to 40 units for the season. So pretty excited about that. All plays are at wt.buzz/AL. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment below. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone same time, same place tomorrow. Take care.